Hey there. So today we're going to be talking about early exposure to LGBTQ in early level education. I'm Kenny.
I'm Eva.
I'm Erin.
My name is Shona.
I'm Selena.
Thanks for tuning in. So some topics we're going to cover are primary school education, LGBTQ awareness, societal movements regarding them, and some regional data. So of the 50 million students in classrooms every day, 35 million of them are of elementary age, an age of development, growth, and understanding. It is in these grades we learn how to read, write, and get our first grasp of life in and out of the classroom setting. Youth are introduced to some of the most fundamental sociological concepts and human interaction. People begin to build relationships, both friendly, academic, and intimate. Within this exploration comes the formation of curricula and lesson plans on behalf of the district and state, and it is this material that forms the education of youth. What some choose to or not to include determines only the type of education a student receives, but the framework of thinking by which they will develop judgments and ethics that will stick with them. The inclusion of LGBTQ education is the topic of this discussion. Many schools choose not to include this as a subject in early years of education, and our goal is to explore the possibility of integrating this into elementary level lesson plans. Let's take a look at the data.
So we conducted a survey called Knowledge of LGBTQ and asked questions along the lines of, did you go to public school, private school, did you have any background learning about the LGBTQ community within schools? And so the information we got was that 20% of our participants finished primary school in 2008, 78% of our participants went to public school, only 6% experienced academic exposure to LGBTQ, and the majority of our participants became aware of LGBTQ community from 4th to 9th grade. We also found that out of our 88 responses, only 5 of them said that we should not be teaching LGBTQ in schools. So after asking that question, we asked why or why not people should or shouldn't be taught about this community in schools, and we got some responses. So one of them was LGBTQ youth should be able to learn about themselves from an early age and should be able to feel accepted. Teaching kids that the LGBTQ community is something to be respected needs to start at an early age.
Another reason someone gave for why we should be introduced to this information at primary school is because people are still homophobic today.
Another concluded to educate our children before they become the ignorant, bigoted douchebags that we complain about today.
Finally, children in primary school may already be aware of their gender identity and sexuality, although they may not understand it, and misinformation and misrepresentations can be harmful for their self-esteem as they continue to grow into their identity.
We also got some responses saying why we shouldn't teach in primary school about the LGBTQ community. You can't force something on students. It's the responsibility of the LGBTQ community to educate themselves on their own without forcing heterosexual students to be exposed to that.
Another response is kids. Someone said that kids are still too young to comprehend a topic like sexual orientation.
Another individual said, I doubt children are actually capable of understanding a complex topic like sexual orientation before middle school.
Another person responded, the schools should teach strictly about academic subjects. It's not the school's responsibility to teach such things. While I do subjectively think it would be good if the school taught about it, objectively, I don't think they should. Okay, moving on. So we have the no homo promo laws, and these are local or state education laws that expressly forbid teachers from discussing gay and transgender issues, including sexual health and HIV/AIDS awareness in a positive light, if at all. The states that practice this law are Utah, Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina. Utah is the first state to challenge these laws in federal court. Prop 8 was another thing we should focus on, and it was a ballot in the state of California and a constitutional amendment passed in November 2008. This states that only marriage between a man and a woman is valid or recognized in California.
Okay, so we also did some research on the LGBTQ community. So the Human Rights Campaign created a survey, and about 10,000 people from the ages 13 through 17 identified in this community. 4 in 10 LGBTQ youth say the community in which they live is not accepting of LGBTQ people. 26% of LGBT youth say their biggest problems are not feeling accepted by their family, trouble at school, bullying, and a fear of being out or open. 22% of non-LGBTQ youth say that their biggest problems are trouble with classes, exams, and grades.
Another research study we looked at was conducted with school psychologists in the state of New York, and we had over 113 school psychologists answer questions about LGBTQ families around the state, and they said that over 70% of them said that the district didn't educate students on alternative families like gay and lesbian families, and 97% of them said that their school curriculum was exclusive and not inclusive to LGBT families.
So in light of Prop 8, the Supreme Court declared same-sex marriage legal in all 50 states in 2015. So in order for LGBTQ to get more aware to primary schools is to introduce the social media called Queer Kids Stuff. So Queer Kids Stuff is created by and produced by Lindsay Ammer and is intended to be a conversation started between adults and kids and about queer issues. It indoctrinates young children about the LGBTQ community. It creates a safe and fun environment that is represented through social media. So in conclusion, since most students at UCSC completed primary school when Prop 8 existed, they were not likely to learn about the LGBTQ plus community.
However, the Supreme Court declared same-sex marriage legal in all 50 states in 2015.
So this is our chance now to introduce the LGBTQ plus community to primary schools in order for kids to gain this knowledge at an earlier age.
With an ever-evolving contemporary culture, it is important to understand and learn about our differences as individuals. Thank you.